everyone, and welcome back to episode 31 of Sooner Girl Sports Pod. And today I have a fantastic guest, Taylor Reimer. She is a former OU cheerleader and now a current race car driver who lives in North Carolina. Moved to North Carolina after her graduation to pursue her passion for racing. She grew up doing dirt racing with her dad at home and raced around the state of Oklahoma. And then after graduation, she decided to take that to the next step. She grew up a Sooner fan, Sooner born, Sooner bred. Her mom's side of her family all went to OU, and so she wanted nothing more than to grow up and be able to cheer on the sidelines at Oklahoma football games. And she said she has so many great memories to choose from, but she is so proud and so thankful to have been able to cheer on the sidelines. She has an awesome story of her move out to North Carolina and where she is in life right now as a race car driver. So I hope that you will enjoy this great interview with Taylor Reimer. You can find her on Instagram at Taylor Reimer. It's Reimerr. And on Twitter, also, it's spelled with her last name with two R's, Reimerr. And on Facebook, you can find her at Taylor Reimer Racing. So you guys enjoy this awesome interview with sweet Taylor Reimer. Thank you, Taylor, for taking the time to join me today. I'm very excited to talk to you, and I hope you don't mind. I'm going to bring this part up right off the bat because I thought it was really cool what you said to me in your bio about how you ended up where you're at and how people sometimes, though, point out that you're female, and you would prefer them not to do that only because you see yourself as an equal and on a level playing field. And I love that you said that because I think that's a big deal. And so, I'm guilty as well as going, oh, she's a female car driver or whatever. But I think it's cool that you just you're not a female attorney or a female, you're just a doctor or you're just an attorney or whatever. And I think that's an important thing to point out. So I really appreciate you pointing that out because I think that's cool that you did.
There's already so many stereotypes around women in racing that we already go through so much, and then just the added on of people always bring up, and it's totally fine. Like people bring it up all the time, but it's more so the negative side of it. That's
absolutely
it can be a lot sometimes, but
that's
part of it. I signed up for it when I started racing as a female, so I learned a lot from it.
Yeah, sadly, I think it is just part of, being a girl. We just have to accept that that's how things are. But I love that you pointed that out because I think that's a really good thing to mention. So, okay, so tell me a little bit about how you ended up at OU. I know you grew up like your family, they were all OU fans, but just tell me a little bit about how you ended up there and your cheerleading days. I saw your picture you sent of your OU cheer uniform when you were little. And I love that because I, too, was born an OU fan. So growing up in that, it's just I've never known anything different. So
so I was born in Oklahoma, and on my mom's side, all of my family, they went to OU. So my mom went there, her mom and dad went there, and then her sister as well. So I've just kind of been born into the Sooner family from the very, very beginning. And I went to high school in Oklahoma, and when I was getting ready, to decide where I wanted to go to college, it wasn't even a question. OU was the only place that I even applied to because I already knew that that's where I wanted to go. So it was an amazing 4 years. I was in a sorority, Alpha Phi, cheered, and then, along with my degree, I've always kept myself busy, but it was a great 4 years, and OU is an awesome program.
Awesome. Well, like I said, I grew up a Sooner as well, so obviously I'm near and dear to that place as well. And I graduated in 2003, so I'm a little older than you, but the Sooner blood runs deep for sure.
Yeah.
So how did you get into racing?
Yeah, so my dad grew up racing all sorts of things, just, a variety of different cars and all kinds of racing. So he put me into it when I was a little girl. I think I was around 5 or 6. He got a go-kart, and we were riding around in the cul-de-sac, and he put me in it, and my mom was not happy about it. She was like, absolutely not. And we did it whenever she was at work one day, and we came home, and we're out in the cul-de-sac riding around in a go-kart, and they quickly realized that she's kind of good. and
Yeah.
something could come out of it. So we started racing at our local track out in Oklahoma. I
Hmm.
ran 50cc go-karts, did that for a couple years, and then I ended up moving over to dirt. So
Okay.
most of my time has been dirt racing. And then it was just a fun hobby for me and my dad. Like that's what we did
Yeah.
every Saturday. We didn't travel. We raced at our local track
Uh-huh.
at Port City Raceway, which is just, a little bull ring sized dirt track. And
Uh-huh.
just, it was a great time for me and my father to like bond. And
That's cool.
I loved it. I'm super competitive, and that's why I'm still doing it now. It's just because I have, a need for speed, and I love the competitiveness side of it. But we did it until I was about 14 years old, and then we kind of made the decision that, I should probably finish out high school. I was also cheering at the time, so kind of just made the decision that it was probably best if, I finished out high school, and then I always knew that I wanted to go to college because I think getting a degree is very important. So
Hmm.
finished out high school and then ended up in college. And about midway through my college time, COVID hit, and
Hmm.
me and my dad were back at our local track at Port City, just watching the midgets out there, which is what I ended up
Hmm.
racing. But one of our friends that we grew up racing with was starting a midget team, and we were talking to them, and they had asked like, oh, like, would you be interested in getting back in the car behind the wheel? And I was like, yeah, I mean, I would love to, especially just being out there watching everyone race. Like, I was like, wow, I really
Yes.
wish that I was out there. And so that's kind of like the start of my comeback. We took 7 years off, and then I started, racing part-time throughout my last 2 years of college. I wasn't able to run full-time. So just like getting my feet wet back into the sport. And then,
Yeah.
ultimately, whenever I graduated college, about a year later, I, stayed at home, tried to decide what I wanted to do with my life. And I felt like at the time I made the decision that I wanted to be a race car driver. So I
That's
moved out
awesome.
here to North Carolina. I've been out here for 2.5 years now, and I love it out here. It's amazing.
I love that story because you just took charge of what you wanted to do and made it happen, and that's really cool. So I live in southern Oklahoma, and we have two race tracks around here. One of them's drag racing, and then the other one is a dirt track, like you were talking
Mhm.
about. I can actually hear it from my house.
Oh,
And
wow.
I've
Okay.
I've always, I mean, it's not super loud, but
Mhm.
you can definitely hear it, especially if you're outside. And my cousin's into racing, and so I've only been out there like maybe once ever. It's never really been something that I'm super involved in, just because it
Yeah.
seems like I have something else going on. Because obviously I'm into sports, so I'm always watching something. But anyway, it's something that's pretty prevalent. I feel like in Oklahoma for sure. But there's so many people still like myself. We grew up around it and know people that do it and are involved in it, but we just don't know a lot about it. So I
Yeah.
think it's really cool. That's why I was looking forward to talking to you today. Just like I said, I don't know a lot about it myself, but I'm really intrigued that you made that happen. You moved halfway across the country by yourself.
Yeah, yeah, I was all alone. And
That's crazy.
it's so weird because whenever you're in college and you're getting to your senior year, you're so excited, everyone's ready to graduate, move on to the next chapter of your life.
Uh-huh.
And once you do graduate, no one really talks about moving away, and you don't
Yeah.
see these people that you spent every single day with. Like, you lived with several people, you all lived on the same street, you were
Yes.
surrounded by these people for 4 years, and then you graduate and everyone kind of goes their own way.
Hmm.
And especially like being from Oklahoma, everyone that went to OU, for the most part, I would say they either went back to Oklahoma, or they went to Texas, and a lot of
Yes.
people are in Dallas now.
Yes. Yes.
So a lot of my friends went to Dallas, and, moving all the way out to North Carolina. I had never even been to North Carolina before I moved out there.
Oh,
So
wow.
like moving all the way to the East Coast was such a big deal because I don't get to see all my friends like they do. They all get to see
Right.
each other all the time.
Uh-huh.
But I get to see them, a couple times a year whenever I get to go home, and I try to go to
Hmm.
OU Texas every year, and just to see
Right. Yeah.
everyone. But no, it just, no one really talks about it once you graduate, that everyone moves on to the next chapter, and then you never see some of these people again that you spent every day with, and
Yes.
it's hard. Like, it's crazy.
It definitely is. And I think, well, for me anyway, I feel like the transition from high school to college was even a little bit easier than
Yeah,
after
I agree.
college,
For
because
sure.
even though I was from small town Oklahoma, went to OU, you're finding yourself, I guess,
Absolutely, yeah.
and make your own home. But yeah, like you said, when you're finished with college, like you grew up with those people.
Yeah.
And so now you're like, what am I supposed to do? So I
Yeah.
totally get that. I feel like the jump after college is much harder than jumping into college.
For sure,
And
yeah.
Honestly, I don't feel like that's something I would have anticipated. I would have thought it was the other way around. But
Yeah. Yeah, well, I went to like a lot of people that I went to high school with, they all came to OU too. So it
oh, okay.
it wasn't that hard because everyone like that I went to high school with, we all kind of went to school
Okay.
together, or some people like went to OSU, but it was still
Uh-huh.
everyone stayed close. And so
Right.
I grew up with these people and I've been surrounded by them since I was, like 4 years old because we even
Oh
went to
my
high school
goodness.
together, like we elementary school,
Yeah.
all that. And then we all go to OU together and then we graduate and then everyone kind of goes their own way and
Yeah.
it's crazy how it all works out.
It really is. Okay, so why did you pick the East Coast? Like, again, it's racing motivated, obviously, but like, I don't know why that you would have
Yeah.
picked that location over another. So what led you out there?
Yeah, for sure. So people who don't know, racing, like if you are in racing, the mecca of racing and NASCAR is out in North Carolina. So
Okay.
all of the NASCAR shops are out here.
Okay.
And so let's say like if I wanted to go to like if I was racing an IndyCar, that is
Mm-hmm.
in Indianapolis or Indiana. That's where
Right.
everyone
Uh-huh.
moves. So if you want to be a NASCAR driver, you moved out to North Carolina because all of the shops are out here, all of the manufacturers are out here.
Okay.
So I moved out here to be a part of the Toyota program, and they have a place where we can train and everything.
Uh-huh.
And then like working in the race shops and being there throughout the week is really important in racing. So that's why
Okay.
everyone goes to North Carolina.
Okay, that makes sense. I did not know that.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people don't. So if you're not familiar with racing, that is why people go to
Yeah.
North Carolina.
Okay. So what's one of your favorite racing memories since you've been out there?
I would say so I moved out here and I was still doing part-time dirt racing.
Mm-hmm.
And then we decided that, or I decided that I wanted to do a little bit of pavement racing and try and go in that avenue. So
Okay.
I started pavement racing, and I would say my favorite memory so far is last year I started racing limited late models, and probably my first win, and that was really, really special
Oh
because
yes.
I had been grinding out in dirt racing and we were so close so many times that it was just like so frustrating to be right
Mm-hmm.
there. And then for the first year moving over to asphalt to be able to get a win was really special.
Wow, that is really cool. So, I mean, that has to be a big switch because I'm just thinking about as a normal driver,
Mhm.
like there's so many different things to think about when you're
Yeah.
driving on an asphalt road as opposed to a dirt road.
Oh, yeah.
So, and when you're going at a high rate of speed, I can only imagine. So,
Yeah.
like, how fast do you typically drive?
So it totally depends on the track.
Okay.
It definitely varies. Short tracks, I mean, you're probably getting up to like 90 to 100.
Okay.
On those intermediate sized tracks, which I'm doing a couple this year,
Mm-hmm.
you get up to like 160 to 180.
Wow.
Yeah, it totally depends on the track. The
Yeah.
fastest
Okay.
I've gone it was probably around 180, and it was earlier this year
Wow.
at Kansas Speedway.
Oh my gosh.
I'm racing there later this year, but yeah, it just totally depends on the track size.
Okay, that's really cool. Do your parents get to come, or your family or friends get to come out and see you much, or come to your races and stuff?
Yeah, so for the big races, like my parents always come to, and then
Cool.
they come to some of my stuff. Like when I race locally out in North Carolina, they'll come
Uh,
whenever they can. Whenever I dirt raced, we had a motor home, and they would
oh,
travel with me
yeah,
to all the races. So
that's awesome.
they've,
Yeah.
they've always gone to my races and supported me, and it just makes it so much more special to have them there.
Oh, for sure, for sure. I've talked to so many people from so many aspects of sports, and that's one thing that always comes up is having that support of like
Mhm.
the fans. Whether you're an athlete or someone on staff or whatever, everybody's always mentioning showing up and showing that support and how important. And that's so true because I'm certainly not an athlete in any capacity. But I know just having somebody say, "Oh, I listened to your podcast," or anything like that, like they're supporting what you're doing and showing up for you, and that does mean a lot. So that's cool that you have that support and that they show up for you. So
Yeah, with my parents, I've always been super close to them. So
that's
moving
good.
out here and moving away from them was really, really hard.
I
Uh,
bet so.
but I talk to them and FaceTime them every single day.
That's good.
I
Well,
still get to communicate with them, and then it's great to have them come visit me out here.
for sure. Well, thank goodness for technology
I
because
know, yeah.
I know just the time difference sometimes is, I mean, it's just an hour, but
Yeah.
still, sometimes that's a big difference. I'll be watching a sporting event or something, and I'll think, holy cow, it's 1 a.m. on the East Coast, and
Yes, yeah.
So it's a world of difference sometimes. Okay, you said your favorite memory, you had a lot to choose from, but just, cheering in general
Mhm.
on the sidelines. So, what's the loudest game that you can recall cheering at?
I mean, I feel like they were all like the home games are crazy.
They
And
are.
and I feel like they're all equally as loud.
Okay.
Just trying to think if one like stands out. I just all of the home games, like they're all
Okay.
equally
Yeah.
as loud. Everyone brings the energy. It's just so electric within the stadium.
Yes.
It's a feeling that like you don't get anywhere else. And
Yes.
just being inside of there when, the football players run out in the beginning
Yes.
and
I love that part.
um, doing the Boomer Sooner chant and everything.
Hmm.
It's crazy how loud it gets.
I bet so down on the field because you're like enclosed down in there, and
Yeah.
so everything's kind of echoing. So I can
Yes.
imagine.
Yeah.
How does it compare to OU Texas? Like in the bowl, how does it compare to a home game? The
I
volume of the
I
crowd.
feel like it's yeah, OU Texas is one that's probably like the like an away game to compare to a home game would be OU Texas.
Okay.
Like that
Okay.
brings like the same energy as a home game
As a
does.
home game.
Yeah, OU Texas is the biggest one for sure.
Okay. I always tell people if they've never been to OU Texas, they have to go at least once because
Absolutely, yeah.
it's a whole thing. I mean, I know it's a whole day, it's like a whole event and everything. It's definitely a whole vibe. So now the game's at, well, last year it was at
Yes.
2:30 and this year again it's at 2:30, and I think that's probably something that's going to stick.
Yeah.
It seems like
That's
that
nice.
something that Greg Sankey likes. So I kind of have mixed feelings about it being at
Really?
2:30. Yeah, so like just from your experience as being involved in the game day part of it, what are your thoughts on like early as opposed to being an afternoon kickoff?
Yeah, so personally, I loved night games just
Oh
because,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
my eyes are, this is so random, but my eyes are really sensitive to the sun and,
Uh,
because they're blue. So I have trouble seeing without sunglasses on.
that
So
makes
I
sense.
loved the night games, but I think 2:30 is better than 11 for us as cheerleaders because when you have an 11 a.m. kickoff, I mean, we wake up at 5 in the morning to
Oh
start getting ready
gosh.
because we have to
Yeah.
be at the stadium several hours earlier because
Uh-huh.
we have events and stuff that we have to do, and then we have to
Mhm.
warm up and everything. So
Mhm.
if we have an 11 o'clock kickoff, we're waking up at
Oh
4:35,
man.
be at the stadium at 6:37 in the morning, just because we have so many activities to do beforehand. So
Wow.
I love a 2:30. I think it's perfect.
Okay, that makes sense. Well, most people do like the 2:30, and like I said, I kind of have mixed feelings about it. I think last year I've been used to it being at 11 for so
Yeah,
long. Last year it was hot.
that is the one. Yeah, it
Yeah,
depends on the
and
weather too. Like,
that is, well, you never know what you're going to get in
yeah,
Dallas because I've been there when it's 50 and cold and rainy, and I've been there when it's
mm,
100.
yeah,
So you never know what you're going to get. Most people overall like the 2:30 better, but
yeah.
that makes sense. You talking about having to, because I mean, in the band too, like you guys,
Hmm.
you all have to get there
Yeah,
so
yeah.
early.
I feel like
Yeah.
even with the 2:30, like you're still waking up as early as you would for the 11 a.m.
Yeah.
games because people, and that's why it seems longer because
Yes.
one, you're getting done later, and then you're waking up just as early
Yes.
as you would for an 11 o'clock game because everyone likes to pregame and
Yes.
go get brunch and stuff. So
Yes.
the day is essentially longer with the 2:30 because you are waking up just as
Yeah.
early as you would for an 11 a.m. game.
That you hit the nail on the head. So, what was your favorite away game that you cheered at while
Hmm.
you were at OU?
I
Because we were still in the Big 12 back then. Did you?
well, I did travel,
Hmm.
but I didn't really go to any bigger games.
Okay.
One, I was supposed to go to the bowl game my senior year,
Uh huh.
but what happened was I was racing that
Okay.
weekend, and I got something happened where I got stuck out there because of the weather, and I was supposed
Oh
to fly
no.
home for the game the next day. It was a home game, and I missed that home game, and then
Oh no.
my punishment was that I couldn't cheer at the bowl game from my kid.
Oh. No.
So I didn't get to go
Well.
to the bowl game, and I feel like that probably would have been the coolest one. But I would say freshman year, I did get to travel to West Virginia.
Oh,
I
okay.
came out there, and it was snowing a little bit.
Yes.
That one was a really cool one. That's like one that I'll always remember. And it was my freshman
Okay.
year too. So
I
usually you don't
remember that.
travel that much when you're younger.
Yes, that's so true. I remember that West Virginia game when it was snowing. I'm trying. What year was it that we played at BYU?
I wasn't there.
I think you may have graduated. I feel like That was 2 years ago, so it would have been in 23.
Okay, yeah, I was gone by then. I
Okay,
graduated in
yeah.
22.
My husband and I traveled out for that game just because I wanted to go. We'd never been to Utah.
Yeah.
But that stadium, it just looked amazing, and it really is. It's gorgeous.
Yeah.
Even their baseball and softball stadiums, the backdrop is just really gorgeous. That's one that sticks out to me as like one of the prettiest that I've been
Yeah.
to.
I did cheer the OU OSU game.
Oh,
It was in
Bedlam.
Stillwater. I did cheer Bedlam one year, but it
Uh-huh.
wasn't in a good way because I had strep and
Oh
it was
no,
not very enjoyable because it
no.
was cold and I was so sick. I was so weak.
Oh,
So it wasn't the most enjoyable, but still cool to get to say that I did get
oh
to
for
play that
sure.
home game.
Yeah. So my husband is actually an OSU grad. And so I am very familiar with Bedlam on all
Yeah.
capacities. But Bedlam football is one place that I do not go.
That's
So the last Bedlam football game for the time being was in Stillwater. And I was like, I'm not
yeah.
going. And so a friend went with my husband and everybody was like, I can't believe you don't want to go. Like that's your game. Like it's
Mhm.
obviously a big deal with us and just the last one for the foreseeable future. And I was like, I don't care. I'm not going.
Yeah.
And obviously it did not work out in my favor. So it's best that I stayed behind. But yeah, it's actually it's loud in that stadium.
Yeah.
It's very loud. One of my favorite times to go to Stillwater is when they're playing Texas because I
Okay,
can
yeah.
do horns down all day long.
Yeah.
I can
Not
handle that.
always.
Yeah, so I always liked to go when they played Texas, but
Yeah. That's a
it's
good
loud
one.
in there. It's
Yeah.
and they're beating those paddles
Oh yeah.
on the side of the wall. Yeah, it's a loud place. So, what's the rowdiest fans that you've been around? I mean, those Texas.
I didn't really experience any. I can't remember which team it was, but I know some of the cheerleaders came back from a game where the fans are really, really rude, and
Uh-huh.
like they were talking about how rude people were, and they were throwing stuff at them, and
Oh, geez.
like saying mean things to the cheerleaders. I can't remember which team it was. I didn't really experience any crazy things with other teams' fans.
Did you go to the Nebraska game when we were
I
up
don't
there?
think I did.
That was it was Brent Venable's first year, so maybe 21 or
Okay.
2. I was pleasantly surprised with their fans because OU Nebraska, obviously goes way back with their rivalry, so to speak, or
Yeah.
whatever. And so I wasn't sure what to expect from their people. Of course, you never know. There's always one that's like a jerk. Overall, everybody was so kind. And I would say that and BYU are two of the places I've gone to when everybody was so friendly, and I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was truly shocked. I've had some not so good
Nothing to
experiences, so the
encounter.
good
Yeah.
ones stick
They
out. The
do,
good ones,
yes, for
yeah.
sure.
So what about cheer comps? Where did y'all go for those?
So we competed in Florida.
Okay,
Yep. So we would go down to Florida every year and
okay,
compete in UCA.
okay, cool. Well, that's good weather, so
Yeah, yeah. And
that
it
had to
was
have been
nice.
fun.
It was in January too. So it
Good, you
was
got
like
away
really
from the
cold
cold.
back home, and it was nice to get to go out there whenever the weather was
Yeah,
there and
that's really
bring
cool.
out your
That's really
summer
cool.
clothes. Yeah.
Yes.
A couple years ago, I went out to New Zealand to race. I
Whoa,
was out there for
cool.
2 weeks and it was over Christmas time. So it was winter here, but
Okay,
it was
yeah,
summer in New Zealand. So I always like tell people it was just so weird. We were sitting outside on the patio in shorts and a t-shirt eating Christmas
it's
dinner.
Christmas.
Like it was just because usually, it's snowing in Oklahoma over Christmas or
Uh
it's
huh.
freezing cold. It was the opposite there, which it was just, it's so crazy
Wow.
how the seasons are different.
Yes, that is. That is.
Out all my summer clothes for that trip because it was all I was wearing was leggings and
Yes.
hoodies, and then I was like, I gotta go dig out
I
my
can't.
shirts and t-shirts.
I can't wear this there. That's really cool that you went to New Zealand. Oh my
Yeah, it
gosh.
was a great experience. It was really, really
That
fun.
that's awesome. So you went there for a race?
Yep, I went out there for like their little series that they have out in New Zealand.
Okay.
Someone out there asked if I wanted to drive for them, and
That's
I think we
cool.
did like 5 or 6 races. And it was
Wow.
cool, just like the tracks are a little bit different over there too, just the characteristics of it. So,
Okay.
but it was an awesome experience, and I'm really glad that I was able to go out there and do that.
That That's really cool that you got to go and race there
Yeah.
because. So I guess you obviously drove one of their cars. You didn't take
I did,
yours.
yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they had a team out there that I drove
Yeah.
for, and they
That's
prepped
cool.
it all like themselves and did everything out there, and I just showed up and drove.
Do they speak English?
They do, yeah.
Okay. I
Yeah,
thought so,
they
but
have
okay.
like their slang is a little bit different and
Yeah, yeah.
say things they have, and I actually had written down when I was out there, and I need to go back and look at it just because I'm like curious, but I wrote a bunch of different sayings that they say and just
Oh,
different
yes.
terminology, like how
Um,
they like some things they say. So it was interesting to hear their lingo, and then also driving over there was crazy because you're driving on the opposite side of the
the
road
opposite
and the
side.
opposite side of the wheel too. So it was like
Yes.
backwards. I think so it's like
Uh-huh.
it's right. You know how it's usually like right on red.
Yes.
It's right and left on red. Like it's
Yes.
weird. It's completely backwards. And you can totally like whenever people visit there, I'm sure if I was a local there, you could definitely point out the people who are
For
because
sure.
a lot of people be driving on the wrong side of the road and be like, oh yeah, they're
Hmm.
definitely not from here. Like you have to the whole time be like, and it's hard too because you're trying to follow a map because one, you don't know where you're going.
Yes.
And two,
Yes.
you're on the opposite side of the road and you're
It's
trying
too
to
much.
follow all the signs and everything. It's just laid out differently there. So it's
Yeah.
you definitely have to be like paying attention to the max.
Yes.
You're gonna end up
I'm just
on
gonna take a
a one
taxi.
way. Yeah, yeah. I enjoyed it though. I picked it up pretty quickly.
That's good.
Like, oh
Yeah.
yeah,
For sure. That's really a neat experience. Okay, so who's your favorite driver that you've always like idolized?
honestly, I get this question often, and it's hard for me to answer because growing up, whenever I was racing, I would watch
Hmm.
racing and, I kind of followed it, but I was never a huge fan, if that makes
Okay,
sense.
yeah, no, that
And there
makes sense.
wasn't really any like drivers that I watched or looked up to. If I had to pick one, I would say whenever she did drive, I would watch Danica Patrick just
Yes.
because she's
Okay.
a female. But I never actually watched the races. So I never watched
Hmm.
NASCAR growing up until I moved out here,
Oh
which is so
wow.
crazy.
Okay.
I was
Yeah.
never like a huge fan. I raced dirt on the weekends with my dad and it was, more for
That's what
fun.
you did. Yeah.
So I don't have one that like really sticks out to be like, oh,
Hmm.
they're my idol and I've watched them ever since I was a little girl. Most race car drivers do have that. So it's like
Yeah.
it's a valid question, but I really don't have one.
That's understandable. Like, who's the most famous driver that you've got to meet?
I mean, I know most of the Cup guys, like in
Okay.
NASCAR, just
Yeah.
because, I train with some of them at Toyota.
Hmm.
Like Christopher Bell, I mean, he's from OU, or like
Oh,
he grew up
okay.
in Norman, and he's racing the Cup Series now.
Oh,
I say
really?
Christopher. Yeah,
Oh, that's
yeah,
really cool.
he's
I did not know that.
yeah, born and raised in Norman, Oklahoma, and he raced out in Oklahoma for a while, and then now he drives in the Cup Series.
So, everybody around here is familiar, obviously, with Texas Motor Speedway.
Hmm.
And it's not far from where I live in southern Oklahoma. And so a lot of people are frequent flyers down there. And I've never been there.
Okay, you need to go.
So I need to go. I know they have a big race there at
Mhm.
least once a year, maybe twice. In fact, there was just
Like
like a
in
month
May.
ago.
Yep, I was
Yeah.
out there. I was there.
Oh, are you? Okay.
So
Uh,
it was really cool. They did like a suite for former OU athletes. So we had our own suite up inside the track.
oh, that's so
And
neat.
there was like football players and
Okay.
different people that, played at OU. There were some coaches.
Okay.
It was really cool to do that. And then we actually got to do like when the drivers did driver intros, we got to go up on the stage and they kind of like recognized us. So um, that was really cool. And I think it was a month ago. Only one to go to if you're from Oklahoma. That's
Okay.
going to be the closest. Or maybe
Yes.
Kansas.
Oh, yeah,
Kansas
Kansas.
Speedway and then Texas Motor Speedway. But the Texas one's a good one to go to.
Okay. Where is the one in Kansas? Is it in Wichita?
No, I think it's in Kansas City.
Oh,
I'm gonna
Kansas
look that
City.
up. I was
Okay.
literally
Okay.
there a month ago.
So the Texas one is definitely closer to me where I am, but Kansas City, I mean, it's not far.
Yeah.
Especially like from Tulsa area, it's definitely closer. So I've got to start paying more attention to the things that I haven't always paid attention to. That's one thing that I've tried to start doing since I started doing my podcast for sure, because I'm trying to
Burn.
get the exposure and learn, because it's one of those things I don't always think about soccer or tennis.
Yes.
volleyball, even track, and that's a pretty big, thing. But
Absolutely.
those things get overlooked,
They
and that's
do.
why, like, you being a woman, I think is super cool, but and doing what you're doing, but just in general doing something that's not ordinary.
Yes. Yeah,
Like
absolutely.
you went outside of your comfort zone
Yes.
for sure and outside of the box to go do your thing, and I think that's cool. And those type sports, I mean, you have your audience, you have your fans, and every sport does, but those often do get overlooked, and you put in a lot of work
Yeah.
and time and money and all the
Yeah.
things and effort into what you're doing. I love highlighting that because I think it's important to draw attention to
Yeah.
what everybody's doing, because there's so many working parts
For
just
sure.
across the sports world, and
Yeah.
that's what I'm enjoying doing, is learning myself about so
Hmm.
many things that I have no idea about.
Yeah. A lot of
So,
people don't know like how much goes into racing. They just,
oh yeah.
they think like, oh, you drive in a circle, but it's a lot more complex than that. If we're racing in the summer, those stock cars, there's no airflow. So, I mean,
Yeah.
if it's 100 degrees outside, it gets up to 130, 140 degrees inside the car, and you're in there for several hours. So,
Oh my gosh.
that's why we like train out here. We do like a mix of like lifting, cardio, and then we train in heat rooms to try to be
Oh, okay.
tolerant. So we'll, like train hard in a sauna for an hour once a week
Wow.
just to build our heat tolerance because if you're a higher temperature in the car and then your body temperature is obviously going to be higher and then that's going to cause your heart rate to get higher, and then when you have
Yes.
a higher heart rate, your ability to mentally and even physically be able to drive the car decreases. So there's a lot of it that goes into
Wow.
it, and like mental aspect of being behind the wheel for so long. You have to be able to like stay on your game for however long you're in that car, and whenever it's hot in there, it makes it a little bit difficult, and
Oh man.
you have spotters that talk to you while you're racing. So
Okay.
people that like are communicating with you, and you have to be able to comprehend what they're telling you at a really fast pace and be able to utilize what they're saying while you're in the car, because if you don't, then you can end up wrecked. So
Oh man.
there's a lot of aspects that go into it. You definitely have to be an athlete to be a race car driver, and it takes a lot of money to be able to race as well. And that's why, moving out here, I've got the sponsor that I have, which is
Yes.
as well as Cocktails. They're
Okay.
based out of Carrollton,
Your
Texas.
shirt.
Mhm. Okay. We're based out of Carrollton, Texas, and it's actually a
Okay.
woman-owned company as well. Marilee Kick was the
Love
founder.
it.
She was a school teacher out there, and she's sitting by her pool one day and came up with the idea to create a little cocktail that's plastic. So when you're by the pool, it's not going to break or anything. So she's built this incredible company, and I've been grateful enough to have their support and sponsor me, because without sponsorship, I wouldn't be able to race. No
Yeah.
one knows how much it costs if you're not within the world of racing.
Right.
And it's a lot of money. So to be able to have my sponsor support each and every year it's incredible, and I wouldn't be able to do it without them. So I'm very grateful for that as well.
I'm glad you pointed that out, because again, that's something else that people don't think about either, is we see the race cars and we see the sponsorships on them and things like that, but I don't always comprehend the importance of it. Like, I
Yeah.
might just be like, oh, okay, they're sponsoring this car, but like that car may not exist. That driver may not be able
Exactly.
to do that if
Yeah.
it weren't for that sponsor.
Yeah.
So that's cool that you pointed that out. And then back to what you were talking about, working out in the heat and getting your body ready for all the different elements. I've literally never thought about that.
Yeah.
And that's crazy, because I don't like being hot. And you guys are in those suits.
You are. Yep. Or we are. Sorry. So we
Yeah.
are in, we have the suits that are all fire resistant, and then we have undergarments that we wear. So we basically, underneath our suits, we wear leggings. That's like
Okay.
the closest way to compare it to.
Yeah.
And then a long sleeve top. So you have that underneath with
Oh,
tall
man.
socks on, and then you have your whole suit on. Those suits are pretty thick, and it's for a reason, to protect you. And then you have the gloves, and then you have that helmet, and you're in such a small space that, like, if you're claustrophobic, racing would not be for you.
I was gonna say that's the first thing that came to my mind.
When you have that helmet on, it's hard to breathe, and you have to train yourself to breathe differently and make sure you're breathing while you're driving, because a lot of times, like, even when, just for example, like people working out, like during their sets, people
Uh-huh.
will just not breathe just because like I mean that I do it all the time or like
Yeah.
even when you're like doing yoga or something. So you have to train yourself and remember that you have to like breathe to regulate your heart rate.
Oh my
And I
gosh.
actually have a naturally high heart rate compared to a
Uh-huh.
lot of people. So
Mhm.
that's something that I've worked on over the years to be able to withstand in the car at a higher heart rate than most people do.
Yeah.
And it's not easy to do, but that's what training is for, is to be able to
Yeah.
train your body and be. You have to be in really good physical shape to drive these cars.
Wow. That that's impressive because again, that's something I've never thought about. Um, it makes sense. And that's
Yeah,
scary to think about. I mean, the heat, what it does to your body just in general.
yeah,
So you definitely have to be in tip top shape. Wow. That is crazy. I don't think I could do it. I'm a little claustrophobic and I don't like being hot.
yeah. Yeah, it's definitely, and especially coming from dirt racing, like we're in
Uh
open
huh.
cockpit, so it's not as hot. Whereas like when you get in these stock cars and in the heat of the summer,
Yes.
it's brutal.
I bet.
They actually do have these devices that cool your body down, like your internal body temperature. You put
Oh,
on, it's
okay.
called a cool suit,
Okay.
and it's like a short sleeve top. I don't think mine's actually long sleeve, but and it has like little openings and it filters cold water through. So you can have
Oh,
that inside your car to help keep your internal body temperature down. They're very,
interesting.
very expensive devices because they have to create the battery very small so that
Mm-hmm.
it's not taking up a lot of space within the race
Yeah.
car and then not
Uh-huh.
taking the power away from it.
True.
So they're around 11 grand just for a cool suit. So
Wow.
everything in racing is very, very expensive. So that's why it's like so
Oh,
important to
man.
have the sponsors and all that to be able
Absolutely.
to cover those costs. But yeah, people like the smallest things, just to, be able to race cost money, but then to have all these
Mm-hmm.
extra things that help you inside the car to stay at your best cost a lot
Wow.
too. So yeah, it's pretty crazy.
I would have, I mean, you said it cost a lot, but I would have never imagined
Yeah.
that much. So, holy smokes.
Yeah.
Wow. But it's very important that you guys have the fire retardant suits and things
Mhm.
like that. But dadgum, I know they're hot.
Yeah.
Like you all, I would almost have to have the cool suit for sure. I'd have to figure out how to come up with eleven
Oh
thousand
yeah,
dollars.
I definitely for my ARCA races, which is the series that I'm running part time in this year. I will have it for those races. I have my
Oh, cool.
race next weekend is 250 laps, so we'll be in there for a while. So I'll
Oh
definitely
my
have
gosh.
my cooling device in there for that.
Wow. Okay. So how long are you typically in there like for a race?
Yeah, it totally depends.
Okay.
Like it completely varies on one, how many laps the race is, and
Yeah.
two, how many cautions there are, if there's any wreck.
True. Yeah.
So like if there's a really bad wreck and one of the cars leak oil out onto the track,
Oh.
we have to
Yep.
go red flag and then they have to
Mm-hmm.
pour a powder solution on top of it like speedy dry to dry it
Uh-huh.
up because then if someone drives over oil while they're racing, they're probably going to wreck. So
Yeah.
there's a lot of factors. It totally depends.
That
It
is
could be,
true.
like 2 hours, it could be 45 minutes, it could be an hour and 30 minutes. The cup drivers, like that race on Sundays, and their
Mm-hmm.
races are, 400, 500 laps. They're in the car for upwards of like 3.5, 4 hours.
That's nuts.
Yeah. It's a long
Wow.
time. And yeah, people don't really understand how physically and mentally tolling it is on your body.
Yes.
Even when I'm watching a race on Sunday and I'm running errands and I'm thinking like, oh my God, I've done so many things within the last 3.5 hours and the race still isn't
Yes.
over.
And they're still in there.
Exactly, yeah,
Oh my gosh. Okay. I've literally never really thought about that. I mean, yeah,
it's
that's
crazy.
crazy. It really is. Okay. Oh, well, thank you for sharing all that because
Yeah,
I didn't know any of it.
yeah, of course.
Is there anything else to share that I haven't thought about?
Oh, you're good. I feel like I covered all the unique things that can come to my mind. Just there's so many things that play into racing with different track sizes, and there's a lot like aero is a big thing in racing. There's just a lot. There's a lot that
Yeah,
goes into
there is.
races, and there's a lot of data as well that we're able to look at. So we do have racing simulators, which this is a good one that like you're probably not familiar with, but we do have racing simulators that are very expensive machines that allow us to simulate what it is like in a race car. And that's the
Oh,
closest you'll get to being in the car without actually being inside there. And so we do have data that we're able to, do each week before a race. We can go into the simulator and work with our engineer and crew chief and go over, throttle trace, brake trace, all of
okay.
those sorts of things. And you do that every week before a race.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, I didn't think about that.
Yeah.
So interesting. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you
Of
for
course.
teaching
Yeah.
me
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
everyone who's going to listen. I
It
love
is. Yeah.
highlighting, like you said, just different people involved in different things that there's so much that goes on
Yes.
behind the scenes that we just don't know about. And
Exactly.
so, of course, I love highlighting anybody that came from OU. If they're doing
Yeah,
something
that's awesome.
cool,
That's really cool you do
I'm
that. We
I'm
appreciate
all
it.
about it. Thank you, thank
Yeah,
you. Well, I appreciate you
of
taking the
course.
time
Thank you for
and
having me
telling.
on.
Of course, absolutely. I hope you guys enjoyed that interview with Taylor Reimer. I really appreciate her taking the time to sit down and chat with me and come onto the show. I love highlighting, especially women in Sooner sports and just their different journeys and where life has led them today. It's just a super cool experience. And I'm just so thankful for those who take the time to come on the show and share with me. So thank you again, Taylor. I hope that you guys will go give her a follow on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Again, at Taylor Reimer with 2 R's at the end. I will link those in the show notes. And of course, I will be tagging her on social media. She's also on TikTok as well. I believe it's Taylor Reimer Racing. I will be tagging her on all social media throughout the week with clips from the show. So I hope that you will go and give her a follow. Okay, you guys, it is 17 days until kickoff at the time that this episode drops on Wednesday, August the 13th. 17 days until kickoff. We are all super excited. Cannot wait for this football season to finally get here. We all have a lot of hopes and high expectations to some degree for the team this fall. And I am here for it. I have a lot of excitement going into the season. Of course, I believe our opener, we should play well. We should win big. We better. But we hopefully will get a good show from John Mateer, maybe even see some of our backup players come in and get some field time and be ready to go week 2. We got Michigan coming into town. And that's going to be a big test for us. So I think after the Michigan game in week 2, we're going to have a pretty good feel on what the team is looking like, playing against a good, talented team like that. And then, of course, we will recover from the Michigan game, head to Philly to play Temple, and that'll be a good recovery for us. But again, we need to go into Dallas being undefeated. I really think that that's something that we can do. We have Auburn coming into Norman. In September, also the return of Jackson Arnold. That'll be an interesting matchup. I think that hopefully we can get him to cave under the pressure of our awesome defense. And I hope that we can get things taken care of, take care of business with Auburn coming in. I would really, really love to head into Dallas undefeated. That's going to be a huge matchup. Again, Texas faces Ohio State in either week 1 or 2 right off the bat. Going to be a great test for them. They're a preseason number 1. OU was just announced a preseason number 18 today. So we've got a ways to move up the chart this fall. And I think that if we just take care of business, get things done, that we can do that. So I am super pumped about that. I know there's been some mumblings with some injuries and some players not playing, taking reps during fall camp. Eli Bowen, I know, didn't start when fall camp started. I think that he is still on track. I've seen some interviews with him. With the media. Also, Giovanni Gibson is, quote, on schedule, whatever that means. We're not quite sure. Britt Venables said he hasn't gone through the injuries he went through last year. In 30 years of coaching, he calls it an aberration. So I'm hoping not to see that again. That, of course, was a rare thing that we weren't expecting. No one was prepared for, and we definitely don't want to see that again. I'm hoping to see a lot of progress on that front as we move forward. So 17 days, it will be here before we know it, and we will get a taste of where our team is and where we're going into the fall, into the SEC season, and we really need a great showing. So can't wait. If you guys are out at any of the games, shoot me a message. Let me know. I'd love to meet up with you and say hello. My seats are in section 48 in the southwest corner. I usually hang out over in that area. I don't really venture around the stadium much, but if you do get out to a game, I would love to say hello. So give me a holler and let's meet up and chat outside before going in or something. I am one that usually goes into the stadium pretty early. I like to watch the team warm up, see who all's there and what's going on. So again, just hit me up. I'm usually on campus 2 to 3 hours before game time. So I'm ready, guys. Let's go. Let's do this. In case you missed it, last week our men's and women's basketball SEC conference schedules were released. We've got a great slate coming in. I know we've got Kim Mulkey and LSU coming in for the women. Dawn Staley and South Carolina are coming in for the women as well. It's just a great slate for both of our teams. I know the men are hosting several SEC tournament teams coming to Norman this year in Tennessee, Florida, and several others. So again, those schedules are out on social media. So go get those in your calendar. Tickets usually go on sale late fall for a single game. If you're interested in season tickets, I believe you can get those now. They are super affordable, you guys, and we're going to want to get out and support these teams. We got Elia Chavez coming in, of course, as a freshman for the ladies. And then we've got a great slate coming in for the guys as well with the transfers that we have coming in and the return of Dayton Forsyth, aka Sparky, who I'm hoping to have on the show later this fall as well. And so I'm excited for basketball, you guys. They usually start up in late October, early November. So those non-conference games will be announced at a later time. But for now, the SEC conference schedule games are out, and you should go put those on your calendar and make plans to get out and support our teams this basketball season. Also, for men's basketball, Dayton Forsyth earned the Nate Fleming Oklahoma AAU Athlete of the Year Award, which is awarded to a standout athlete who exemplifies leadership and sportsmanship. So congratulations again to Dayton Forsyth for winning that award. I know I've mentioned this before on the show, but shout out to Dayton and all of his family. His aunt is a dear friend of mine. His family is so, so sweet, just amazing, good people, athletic family that he comes from. So happy to have him at OU. He represents us well on and off the court. So thank you to Dayton for all he does for our university, and congratulations on that award. And I'm looking forward to having you on the show later this fall. Our women, Skylar Van was selected as the AAU Jim Thorpe Athlete Award for our girls team. So congratulations to Skylar for that. Again, she is a fantastic athlete on the court, a fantastic person off the court, and she represents our university well. So again, thank you to Skylar and congratulations to her for winning that award on the women's team. Our men's gymnastics had 8 athletes represented at the U.S. Championships in New Orleans just this past weekend, August 7th through the 10th. They came out looking pretty well. We had a bronze medal in the all-around for Fuzzy Bennett, 3 national team spots in Fuzzy, Sasha, I don't want to butcher his last name, but Bogan Nisuik, and Nathan Roman, and a junior world championship team berth for Nathan Roman. And so congratulations to them for those accomplishments this past weekend at the U.S. Championships. And Coach Mark Williams, he is at Wells Gym on social media. You should go give him a follow. He's a great follow. He is such a supportive, amazing coach to these guys. He's always out supporting them, posting about them, sharing their accolades. We've got a lot of talented incoming freshmen he's been highlighting as well. So I would encourage you to go and give him a follow on social media. Again, his handle is at Wells Gym. And also, he was on the show back in March. So I would suggest that you go back and listen to his episode back in March of this year with Coach Mark Williams. He is such a fantastic human, and I cannot wait until their season to get out and be able to see them and get to meet Mark in person. He's been so kind, and I'm so glad to have gotten acquainted with him. And it's just so much fun to follow him as he shares the accolades and accomplishments and the journey that our gymnastics guys have been on this summer as they represent our university. For baseball, one thing that really stuck out to me in the last week or so was Cade Horton. He pushed his scoreless inning streaks to 23.1 innings pitched. It's the largest scoreless streak by a Cubs rookie ever. So shout out for that OU DNA with pitcher Cade Horton. And I just want to give a shout out to him. Coach Skip Johnson is churning out the pitching factory in Norman. So I'm excited for the future of our baseball team. And it's so much fun to watch our previous Sooners on they're professional teams, and it's so much fun when you get to watch them and just see all of their accomplishments past graduation and as they represent our university well. Softball, I want to give a quick shout out to the Oklahoma team that played in the Little League Softball World Series. They did finish third, and I don't know if any of you follow that team or know anything about that team, but they have been incredible to watch this summer. I've just kind of followed them a little bit on Twitter. I did get to watch a little bit of the Little League Softball World Series, and those girls are super fun to watch. They did get beat twice by the same team from Pennsylvania, which knocked them into the third place game, but they won that very handily and took home that third place trophy. And that's a fantastic accomplishment to them. So those Oklahoma girls growing up, and there's no telling how many of them will be on the Sooner roster one day. So shout out to them. And a little update on last week's episode. I did record it a little earlier as I was out of pocket last week, and I'd given a shout out to Peyton Monticelli, former OU softball pitcher who was pitching overseas this summer. And she has been remarkable, so much fun to watch and representing us well. And I gave her a shout out on the show. Well, the very day that I recorded, just later that afternoon, the news was released that Peyton was transferring to LSU and was not going to be a part of the OU roster next season. So I just wanted to make that clarification that I am not apologizing for giving her a shout out at all, because she's incredible. She did a lot for O program in the 2 years that she was with us. I have no regrets in giving her that shout out at all. I'm not trying to take anything away from it. I just wanted to clarify, if you listened and were maybe confused why I didn't mention the fact that she had transferred, it's because I recorded that literally right before the news came out. And so now that that news is out, I just wanted to put that out there that Peyton did transfer to LSU. She will not be a part of the OU squad next season. But I wanted to give a shout out still to her mom, Lauren, who has been so kind. Her brother, Nathan, is still in Norman, still at OU. He plays on the men's hockey club team. And they're just such kind people. And I do want to give Peyton a shout out for all that she did for OU softball during her 2 years on the roster, because she came in relief so many times out of the bullpen and got us where we needed to be. And shout out to her, because she's a stellar pitcher, and I hope she does well in Baton Rouge and finds a home there and a place there for her to thrive. So good luck to you, Peyton, in Baton Rouge. Also, a couple of weekends ago, it was a Sooner takeover. PGF and Alliance was a Sooner showcase. In case you missed it, we had several future Sooners on showcase in that weekend. 2025, Kendall Wells did not just play in that All-American game, but she walked away as the MVP of the game. 2025, Alyssa Parker and Lexi McDaniel, Alliance 18 and under Premier champs. Their team won. 2026 commit Peyton Westra helped her lead the squad to a PGF 18 and under Premier championship. Also 2026, Westra, Kiale Ho Ching, and Gerald Mayalo all showed out in the PGF Futures All-American game. The future is bright for OU softball. Not that that is a shock to literally anyone, but Coach Gasso knows how to find them. And those girls, all 6 of those girls, really showed out in that All-American game. And there was OU DNA all over the field. So shout out to them. Looking forward to seeing Kendall Wells and Alyssa Parker and Lexi McDaniel coming into Norman this fall. We'll have a fall ball schedule out probably in the next month or so. They usually play October into November. So it'll be so exciting to get to see those girls playing at Love's Field this coming season. Soccer has their first home game this week on Thursday, August the 14th. And then Bedlam is this Sunday, August the 17th. I hope that you will get out and support the soccer team. In case you missed it, all home game tickets for our women's soccer team are free. So you just got to show up. And I will be at Bedlam this coming Sunday on the 17th. The game begins at 7. I believe the gates open an hour beforehand at 6. So I will be getting there to sit in the shade. It's an awesome stadium. It's going to be a fun crowd. I hope that you will get out and support our soccer team this season. Even if you can't make it out this weekend, there's a whole season ahead to get out and support those girls. I had Coach Matt Mott and senior forward Hadley Morrell on the podcast earlier this summer talking about their season, their journey so far. So you might want to go back and listen to that, and you won't want to miss getting to watch them this season. So go check their schedule out on their social media and give them a a slot on your calendar if you get a chance to support them. If you're going to be at Bedlam Soccer this Sunday, the 17th, give me a shout. I would love to meet up with you. I will be there. For volleyball, the full schedule is out for those girls, and season tickets are currently on sale. They play at McCaslin Fieldhouse, and they start playing next week. And so I'm planning to make it out to at least one volleyball game this season. I have a couple that I have penciled in. I'm not sure which one yet, but I will be sure and let you guys know if you come out to a volleyball game. I would love to meet up with you. But get out and support these girls. Our former volleyball player, Lydia Martin, who now plays with the pro team, the Indy Ignite, I am hosting her on the pod next week. So you won't want to miss that episode with her. And again, I've never been to an OU volleyball match, and I'm looking forward to getting out and supporting them. Again, their schedule is out now. They start playing next week. So take a glance at it and make a effort to get out and support those girls. Our tennis, we have a lot of freshmen making a noise around the world this summer as they're representing their countries in different tournaments. Congrats to current Sooner Eda Mamandova. I've said her name several times on the headlines this summer. She became a singles finalist at the W15 Astana in Kazakhstan. We've had a lot going on with our tennis girls, and I didn't put all the names in my notes, but if you follow Coach Audra Cohen on Instagram, she posts a lot. Our tennis account on Instagram and Twitter also shares a lot of updates on our tennis team. So I highly encourage you to go out and give them a follow as well. If you missed the episode with our current tennis player, Bruno Naveen, you can go back and catch that. He was just on in July, and I'm looking forward to watching our tennis crew this coming season. And so Bruno is awesome. I love following him on social media. Again, if you missed his episode back in July, you should go back and give it a listen and get you pumped up for tennis season. We also had a lot going on in the world of track and field with the USATF Outdoor Championships that were in Eugene, Oregon just a couple of weeks ago. We had our outdoor championships. The 400 meter, Demaria Smith clocked 45.55 for 7th place in the final. Our triple jump, Jasmine Akins rounded out the women's triple jump in 8th place. And for the men in the triple jump, BJ Green finished 5th and Floyd Whitaker took 13th. BJ Green, also on the triple jump, Agor Dewal took home the silver medal. So congratulations to that crew. And again, track and field head coach James Thomas was on the podcast in July as well. He did a great recap on his journey to OU and his time at OU and all of the athletes. So you're going to want to go give him a follow. Go back and listen to his episode as well. He's got a great group coming in that obviously represent our university very well for each of their countries around the world this summer. And congratulations to our Sooner rowers, Elena, Naomi, and Eva, on their finishes at the World Rowing Championships. They finished 4th, 6th, and 5th place for their respective countries, Team Italy, Team Czech, and Team Germany. And for golf, Jay Summy is the Western Amateur Sweet 16 finalist. Our alumni, Drew Goodman, is the co-leader at the Osprey Valley Open. And that set up for a Bedlam finale for Drew, and he came out on top and won that tournament. So congratulations to him. And as I'm recording this, we have several golfers that are playing at the Olympic Club today at the U.S. Amateur, which opens up a lot of doors for them for different amateur tournaments going forward. Adam Anderson, Matthew Troutman, Andrew Ramos, Ryder Cohen, Clark Van Galen, and Jay Summy all teed off today. Again, I don't have any results on their performance as I'm recording this on Monday afternoon, August the 11th. But shout out to those guys again for repping OU well. And OU men's and women's golf have both released their schedules, and they start playing here in the next few weeks. And when they play at home in Norman, you can go and watch them for free. So go and check out their schedules and make note and get out and support those guys. It's so much fun to get out and support our OU athletes across the board, no matter what the sport is. There's so many athletes that put in the work and time, coaches that work so hard. And so to get out and support them truly means a lot to them. So to end this show with a Sooner fun fact of the week. And since we're so close to football, I was just kind of in football mode. So I wanted to pick this one. As Oklahoma football has had 42 seasons with 10 or more wins, including 19 of those seasons since 2000, which leads the nation. So shout out to our football team. As I said, football season is 17 days away when this episode drops. And Who is hoping to have another one of those 10-win seasons coming up this year? I have high hopes that that could possibly happen. If we're being honest, I do think that my official prediction that I've given out on social media with some other conversations, I've said 9-3. I would be ecstatic to have another 10-win season. I'm not saying we can't do it. I'm just saying it's truly going to be tough. But after I see us play in the first couple of weeks, especially after I see how we handle Illinois State coming in, and then with Michigan coming in, how we handle that. And I would like to see a good road test, and I may reevaluate my initial response, but that's kind of where I'm standing right now. But 17 days, you guys, 17 days. So thank you guys so much for listening today. If you came back, I am so thankful that you enjoy my podcast enough to continue listening. If you do not follow me on social media, please go and do so at Sooner Girl Pod on every platform. I post a lot on Twitter throughout the day, Instagram and Facebook stories throughout the day, lots of updates, all kinds of things when schedules are released and winners of different things are announced. I am posting it. So go give me a follow. And also on TikTok, I post clips of the podcast each week across Instagram and Facebook in my stories on all social media, on TikTok, also on YouTube. You can watch the video and listen to the podcast each week, but please go give me a follow. I'm trying to gain a bigger audience on my YouTube. Again, at Sooner Girl Pod on every platform. Please go give me a follow, share with your friends as we're heading into football season. You're not going to want to miss. I have some great names coming up, some great people who have verbally committed that they will come onto the show. Several former football players, a couple of broadcasters and show hosts you're not going to want to miss. And of course, I have a few Crimson Chronicles episodes scattered throughout the fall as well with some awesome fans, some former athletes you're not going to want to miss out. If you need a shirt like mine, you can get one at soonergirl.bigcartel.com. So everything is linked in my link in bio on my link tree, where you can find links to all my podcast apps, social media, merch. If you're interested in advertising or sponsorships, there's information there. You can shoot me an email at soonergirlsportspod@gmail.com. And just everyone go give me a follow, share with your friends, invite your friend, download, subscribe, all the things. Leave me a review. Sign up for my Substack. It's soonergirlsportspod.substack.com. I have a monthly newsletter called The Playbook that I send out so you won't miss anything regarding the podcast. It will all be sent directly to your inbox. I don't spam you. You just get one email a week regarding the episode drop. And then you get a few more emails throughout the month if there's any big announcements, or for my newsletter, the playbook, things like that. You can sign up for all of that for free on Substack. Or if you want to take it to the next level and show me some love, give me a little support, $5 a month. Ladies, will get you into the locker room. We have a private Instagram feed, a private chat. We do our online monthly huddles on Google Meet. I'm planning our second in-person meetup before the Auburn game in September. And I do giveaways exclusive just to the locker room girls. And we just have a lot of fun. There's all kinds of perks for that. You do get a discount on merch if you are a locker room member as well. So you can find all of that information, my link in bio, on my link tree. Everything is linked there. And I hope that you guys will come back next week to hear my interview with former volleyball player Lydia Martin, who is now a current pro player, and she just re-signed for her second season with the Indy Ignite. So you're not going to want to miss that conversation with her. So thank you guys for listening. Boomer Sooner, and I will see you next Wednesday where we talk sports.